All right, good evening. Welcome to Fairview High School's third annual Fairview Athletic Hall of Fame induction. I'm Principal Chris Butler, and I just want to thank you guys for coming out this evening. This is always a special night. Like I said, this is the third year we've been able to do this, and actually the second year we've done it on homecoming night. So we're super excited to have many of our Yellow Jackets returning to campus for the first time in many years and getting an opportunity to honor them. Before I turn it over to our MC, Coach Chris Hughes, for the evening, I just want to say a special thanks to the Fairview High School Athletic Committee. They are a group of volunteers that just love Fairview High School athletics and want to make sure that we honor those past Yellow Jackets that have brought a lot of pride to our school and make sure the future generation of Yellow Jackets remember those who came before them. And so just thank Mr. Wyatt Jones, who's been our president, Mr. Tom Cartwright, who's probably more than likely at the pumpkin patch right now, so if you get an opportunity, go out and see Mr. Cartwright, Miss Jamie Baker, Miss Kim Penning, Miss Black, Shakia Black, all these people, Miss Laura Mazel, are pouring into our athletes. Many of them don't have a student at Fairview High School right now. They've had students here in the past, or they're going to have students, and so we are just very thankful for their time and to make these things happen for us. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to head coach Chris Hughes, who's going to be our MC for the evening.
First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone and appreciate you being here. This is such a great Hall of Fame class that we're about to inaugurate into our Hall of Fame. They'll be immortalized in the hallway, so years from now, when most of us won't be here, they will still have their image up. And I think everybody on this list is so deserving, and there are so many others. But I'm so glad that we have an administrator who has Fairview ties, who got this going. And we've needed that for a long time. I've been in the system for a long time, and we've needed a Fairview guy, and Chris Butler is that. Of course, you know Ricky Jones is that. He either taught you or taught your parents or your grandparents. So Ricky was here before any schools were built, so it's amazing. The best thing about Fairview, I tell people this all the time. I've been coaching here. I feel like I'm living a dream. The class of '85 will tell you I was not a good athlete. I wasn't good at anything except getting in trouble.
Amen.
But thank you. But I will say this group that has come together, our school and our community that support our student athletes and our students, Fairview is like no other place. And I believe in that. And let me tell you this, it's the best secret in Williamson County. But if you can't tell by the traffic, the secret's out. So I'm hoping we can keep this good. You guys, the real Fairview guys that have been here for years, you are the backbone of the community and all the support we have. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before we begin, I want to mention Wayne Connor, who played basketball here, comes to many athletic events. Wayne is a Bronze Star recipient from his service during the Vietnam War. Can we give a big hand to Wayne? So we're going to jump right into the first person to recognize tonight, Celina Ferrell. You can't mention girls soccer here without someone talking about Celina. I was here when Celina was setting records and doing her things. This is her intro, things to know about her. Her 166 career goals were number 3 in the history of the state of Tennessee at the time of her graduation. Her 61 goals during her junior season were the 3rd most in the season in the history of Tennessee. Celina received all-state honors in 2010 and 2011, and asked all of the athletes if they played sports. So I want to say some of the people that talked about Celina. Amy Ferguson said Celina was one of the most determined students she ever had. When she set her mind to achieve a goal, no one could stop her. She approached her academics and personal life the same way. And this approach took her far in competition and in school. She was excellent at everything she did, and this is a well-deserved honor for her. Her coach, Kevin Sizemore, Celina was a once-in-a-generation talent that he was fortunate enough to get to coach for 4 years at the high school. Her accomplishments on the field speak for themselves and the type of player she was. She helped the Lady Jackets to a 20-win, 2-loss, 2-tie season her junior year, the single season record for the school. which they have 16 wins this year, so they're trying to threaten that. She was part of the district championship teams, region tournaments, sectional teams, and as great as her accomplishments were on the field, she was an unbelievable human being off the field. Her kindness and willingness to help others and a work ethic that he has never seen before set her apart from everyone else. Her determination to be the best at everything she did and her never give up attitude made her the successful player and the successful young woman that she has become. I am fortunate to get to coach her for a short period of time, and I'm extremely grateful to call her a lifelong friend. The impact she had on me personally cannot be put into words, and he'll always be grateful for the part you had in his life, and that's from Coach Kevin Sizemore. Ricky Jones was a little shorter. Celina was a great soccer player, a great kid, a good teammate to my daughter, and that group of girls will always have a special place in my heart. So without further ado, our first induction into the Hall of Fame for this 2025 class, Miss Celina Ferrell. She's playing in the Olympic soccer tournament somewhere, maybe? I don't know. She's not here tonight, but okay. Not here. We will get her award. Is any of Celina's family or anyone here from Celina's family? Okay. Well, we'll all let her know that we talked really good about her. Going to the next inductee, Mr. Ken Brison, who has been inducted for his contribution to Fairview High School athletics. Ken has always been an advocate for Fairview High athletics. He served on numerous boards that supported athletics on the high school level, summer baseball leagues. He was voted as a county commissioner. He was the city mayor, and everything he did was to further our athletic facilities here in Fairview. Richard Branch said, growing up in Fairview in the 70s and 80s, we were blessed to have so many Christian men to look up to, and Ken Brison was one of them. If it wasn't for Ken Brison and others, we wouldn't have had youth sports growing up. He gave his time, he gave his money, so that kids could enjoy playing sports. My life is richer having Ken Brison in it, and our community of Fairview is blessed that he was part of it. Ricky Jones says, as long as I can remember Ken Brison, he has been at almost every football and basketball game in forever, cheering on the Jackets with a bag of popcorn in his hand. And speaking of being a contributor, he and Miss Helen have supplied many Fairview athletes. Ask all Brison descendants here tonight to stand if they play the sport at Fairview High. So if you are related to Ken and you play the sport here, please stand up right now. That's amazing. Ken has enough to form a football team. That's more than 11 right there. Without further ado, and I will say this, Ken had an impact on me as a young person too. We just always saw Ken at everything, and he is one of the nicest men that this community has ever had, and he really supports the athletic programs here and did for many, many years, and he is so deserving of this honor. A big hand for Mr. Ken Brison. Ken, you gotta come up. You get to give like 30-minute speech. No? Can command a few words. Makes my heart feel good, Ken. So deserving. I know your family's proud of you, but we are too. So, another big hand for Ken Brison. He just This next person is, I've known a long time, and I was older than him in school, I'll say that. But love the group that he ran with, and some of the best friends I have are still in that little group. But Chris Pewitt was one of the best athletes to play here. And he's being inducted for basketball, but he was good at every sport. I want to go through his introduction real quick. He played 4 basketball seasons, a varsity starter, position guard, 90, 91, and 92. He lettered each year. All tournament in 90, 91, and 92. All mid-state in 91 and 92. First team. He was awarded the leading scorer in the district in 1992. He surpassed the school scoring record in 1990, 1991, and 1992 with 1,310 points that was set by Michael Mangrum, who was a class of 84 when I was in school. He broke that record. He also played varsity baseball in 89, 90, 91, and 92. He was a shortstop and a pitcher. He was the first freshman to play 4 years of varsity baseball and letter every year under Curtis Putnam. All district baseball in 90, 91, and 92, and the lowest ERA as a pitcher in 1992. That's quite a list of accolades for Mr. Pewitt, and there's probably more. Sheila Hughes, who I guess knows Chris better than anybody. While I am not, this is her quote, while I am not sure if this is appropriate as an old parent, I want to share you growing up with Chris, he always set goals for himself. From the 6th grade until the end of his senior year, he came home after every practice, go to the backyard and go through a daily routine of his own, 7 days a week. He would shoot so many shots from every spot on the floor, so many layups, I would have to make him come into the house. He would stop on wherever the last shot was taken, only if the shot went in. He never stopped working every day until the last game of his senior year, and he taught me as a mother to appreciate dedication and hard work and determination. Now he has 2 sons who are just as dedicated as he was. I am very proud of Chris, and he earned the recognition of a force to be reckoned with on the basketball court at Fairview High School. Daniel Lampley, his coach, said Chris Pewitt was probably one of the best athletes ever to play basketball at Fairview. He might have been the best shooter ever to play at this school. He played hard each game, had a lot of guts, and he scored over 1,000 points in his high school days, averaging over 18 points a game. Ricky Jones. Chris was one of the most intense competitors that I have watched play at Fairview, and he hated to lose. That hasn't changed. He coached my son in baseball, and I will tell you, he is just as fierce a competitor right now as he has ever been. But the things that he did in Fairview High School needs to be honored, remembered, and this is a way for him to be immortalized, and no one deserves it more than a basketball and baseball star, Chris Pewitt. Big hand. Say a few words. Attaboy, Looper!
I would like to first start off by saying, let's give a round of applause to those that were responsible for all these additions. None of this was here when I came to school here. This building, I think the other building attached to the gym was not here. That beautiful football field was not here. And our old baseball field wasn't here either. We played at the city park. So whoever is responsible for getting those things for these athletes, give them a round of applause. I just want to say congratulations to this class. There's a lot of people in this class that I know. I want to thank Coach Lampley for the nomination. I want to thank the committee for the selection. Coach Lampley was my basketball coach my freshman and senior year. John Nutt, he played on the undefeated football team in '79 with all of my uncles. Bobby Green was a youth baseball coach of mine. He's been a dear friend and a good mentor to me. I'd like to thank all my family for being here. And I would like to thank my mom and dad for all the years of support. I would like to thank my uncles and my father for teaching me work ethic and how to be disciplined in what we do and how to be mentally tough. And they taught me how to practice with a purpose. You don't practice just to practice, you practice to attain something. And that goal for me was to be the best athlete that ever walked through the door in this building. I learned quickly as a kid that I could do things that other kids around me could not do. And I set goals for myself. Very early on, I set goals for myself. I worked hard at being the very best player I could be. If it was raining, sleeting, snowing, it didn't matter if it was hot, cold, I did my workout every single day. And when you have a work ethic, it builds, well, a work ethic with purpose, it builds skill, it builds confidence, it builds expectations, and it builds standards. Few people know this, some do, most people do not know this. But by my 8th grade year, I could have went to any powerhouse private school in the state, especially Middle Tennessee. Brentwood Academy, you name it, for football, basketball, baseball, I could have went anywhere. But this was my home. This is where I grew up. And we met with all the schools, and my parents and I talked about it. And a major factor in me staying here was my uncles were my heroes. And my heroes went to school here, so I went to school here. I wanted to make them proud, and I wanted to make my parents proud, being the next member in our family to carry the torch in Fairview. I learned a lot about life during my time here at Fairview. Lifelong lessons. How to keep your priorities in order. How to know who to trust and who do you let get close to you. And that's very simple. That's the Lord, that's your parents, that's your coaches, and your teachers. Anybody beyond that, you can be friendly, but they're not essential. How to deal with success. And how do you deal with success when the pitfalls come with success? How do I organize? How do I get around that or get through that? How to prepare yourself to be the best you can be and control what you can control. I learned this the hard way as I got older. Control what you can control, and you'll be fine. Just do what you do best. Do you. There were two guys that I really looked up to when I came to high school here at Fairview. They were like my basketball idols, if you will. Gary Moore was the first guy. I watched Gary play in the 6th grade, and I was just mesmerized by Gary. He was so athletic. He was so smooth. He made everything look easy. And all the girls liked him, so that was a bonus. The second guy was the late William Heights. William was another superior, just great athlete, great work ethic, super committed. He could play great defense, he could shoot, and he could jump out of the gym. And those guys made me work hard, and it's important that you have that. And when you come up through the ranks, you have to have somebody look at and say, man, I want to be like that, or I want to be better than that. That gives you something to attain. There's some guys that I would like to thank during my time here, students of mine, friends of mine that, they always held my back. Good times and bad, they always had my back. They helped keep me moving forward, keep my chin up. And that is Kenny Parker, Travis Langford, Bo Sullivan, Steve Skelton, Shannon Parsley, Layman and Gary Harris, Tracy Johnson, Ronnie Berry, Gary Moore, Keith Hendricks, Raymond Darnell, and William Heights. They always found a way to pick me up. When we didn't do well or we lost, I did not want to deal with anybody. I didn't want to talk to nobody, and they always put their arm around me and kept me moving forward. I would like to just say, I gave everything I could give here. I gave my heart, my soul to this school. I even give my right arm to this school. So tonight is the last chapter for me here, and this honor closes the book on my time here at Fairview, and I'm happy about it. People that are in the know, I wasn't happy the way things ended when I left here, because I expect big things out of myself and everything I do, and sometimes what I do is never good enough. But everything comes full circle. Dreaming about one day being the best athlete to come here, when you leave here, you know in your heart you are the best athlete or one of the best athletes that went here. And then having an honor like this given to you just confirms all that. And it puts a seal on all the hard work and all the sacrifices that you went through. And I would just like to close with a quote that Coach Kelly, the late Coach Kelly, gave me. The end of '91 season, he was speaking to everyone at the awards banquet, and he said, you know, I've been coaching since 1957, 58, so I've been around basketball for a long time. And he said, this young man is probably one of the best shooters, the best pure shooters that I've ever been around, and that's Chris Pewitt. Thank you. God bless you.
I think you listed the whole basketball team. And he was the best one out of all those guys, because I know all those guys too. Sorry, Bo Sullivan and Gary Moore. But Chris was way better. We'll move on to one of my favorite people. And this guy, I was at school with him in high school. He wore the gray uniforms with the stars that I love so much. I don't know who designed that uniform, Daniel Lampley. That's the best uniform we ever had. Did you design that, Dwayne? Those were the greatest uniforms. The short gray shorts, the stars down the side. It was like we were an all-star basketball team. It was really cool. I wasn't good enough to make that team, but I was a real fan of that team once I got cut. So, no hard feelings. But anyway, this guy right here didn't get cut and was a very good basketball player. But introduction to Bobby, he played basketball here at Fairview High School. He and his family come early to every football game with their chairs at the top of the bleachers. At the basketball games, if you want to see them, they're at the top of the bleachers. They've had many athletes that came through that told me that Bobby bought their food for them. Either bought it at a concession stand, bought them something. Wherever he would see you, he would pay for your meal. And I know in the world we live in, that's kind of like a thing of the past, but you go to pay your check and Bobby Green had already got it. He's done it for me again. And I'm going to dose tonight, Bobby. He would encourage everybody to play multiple sports and do things. Bobby has been such the backbone of Fairview High School athletics since he graduated. And what he's contributed outside of his playing days is even greater than what he contributed when he was playing. So I think he politicked here for a long time for me to get the job coaching football. I don't know if he regrets that or not, but I'm glad he did. This is what Daniel Lampley said about Bobby Green. Bobby Green was the point guard and the floor leader on one of the best basketball teams to ever play at Fairview. He played great defense, and he kept the team fired up every game. He was great at keeping the team and the players around him motivated. Richard Branch said that he thinks it's great Bobby's going into the Hall of Fame alongside his basketball coach. Everything in the world is right today. Coach Lampley sometimes would call timeout just to slow Bobby down because he ran way too fast. Bobby would want a fast break every play, and the coach wanted to run half-court offense. One reason that Bobby is going in, though, to the Hall of Fame is his contribution because of his big heart. He helps many people and does so much that no one ever knows about. He is a great man in our community, and he never wants any recognition for himself. He's a giver, and we are blessed to have him at Fairview. Ronnie Kephart, who said if it wasn't for Bobby, he would have never played basketball. He was in 7th and 8th grade. Bobby talked him into playing because Ronnie shot with 2 hands, like Bobby's brother Slick does. It's not true. But they make it sometimes. But he said the main thing about Bobby, that he was an encourager. And back in 1978, kids were trying to figure out where they belonged. Bobby always encouraged the people around him. Being inducted to the Hall of Fame as a contributor just proves Bobby had good raising, great character, and his destiny in life was to be a man after God's own heart. And I think he's done that. He's come full circle 47 years later, and Ronnie Kephart says, congratulations, my friend Bobby Green. Ricky Jones says, Bobby and Tammy have been supporters of Fairview High Athletics for years. They are both alumni that give back so much throughout their years. I've been told by so many that if Bobby sees you in a restaurant, he'll pick up the tab for so many athletes. And he's probably could fill the bank with the amount of times he's paid for Dion's. But alongside that, Bobby Green is, the thing when I think about Bobby, is that he wants to touch people, and he's a man of faith, and he lives what he says. And a lot of people don't do that now. But Bobby Green is one of the best Fairview High School graduates that gave back to the school long after they were out. And for that reason, he's going into the Hall of Fame tonight. So a big hand for Mr. Bobby Green.
Well, I didn't know I was, most of the time I don't need a mic, but yeah, I'm going through some health issues and I don't have the voice that I usually have. I mean, I lead singing in church and stuff, so hopefully I can get my voice back here sometime here in the near future. I'm not as good as Tracy White, but I'm trying. But I seen Daniel over there a while ago, had all these notes, and I didn't even know I was supposed to speak. So all I can do is speak from the heart. You know, I'm very emotional. The day that I seen it on the internet that I was inducted in the Hall of Fame, bawled like a baby. Because the school means everything to me. You know, Chris Pewitt, I coached him in baseball. The man, the boy was an athlete. He was an athlete. Big John, on that football team, he was a bad boy on that football team. Ken Brison, people don't know this, but me and Ken are pretty good buddies. We're pretty tight, and I used to attend all the football games every Friday night. I mean, whatever I had, I'd drop it because I was going to the football game. Away, home, basketball, away at home. Mr. Ken, I'd go by his house and pick him up, or he'd come to my house on away games, and we'd go together, and guess he'd got to have 2 bags of popcorn. But I love you, brother, and I appreciate you writing me. That was very, I mean, it meant a lot to me. His whole family, just great, great people. Daniel, you know, I played basketball here from 79 to 84. But Daniel, I had 3 or 4 different coaches, but Daniel was like a mentor to me, like a father figure to me. And when I got out of line, he let me know it too. But I love you, brother, and I appreciate you mentoring me and having me be the man that I am. This guy right here, yeah, I tried to help get this guy a football coaching job. I remember we had a game one year when I was a senior and he was a junior, and they was warming up and they wanted to know what Chris was. Well, we put him in a locker and locked him up. He'll admit he wasn't really that good of a basketball player. And he was short, he struggled a little bit. When he went to college and come back, when he played with the boys that could play, he turned out to be a pretty good basketball player. But he's a heck of a football coach, man. He's an offensive-minded guy. Kids love him. He has a great coaching staff. And I support him in any way I can. You know, on Friday mornings, and I miss Roger and his wife used to have Country Cafe. On Friday mornings for I don't know how many years, I'd go out there and eat breakfast with them. And yeah, I'd pay for it, but you know, it made me feel good. But I enjoyed them kids. A lot of these kids through the years since I graduated in 1984, I coached baseball with Brian Anderson and Scotty Mangrum, and we coached a bunch of these boys. I coached Chris and some of the others, and they ended up being really good baseball players on the high school team later on. And I encouraged them to keep playing basketball. That was my best favorite one sport. I ran the basketball program out here for years. But there was a lot of kids that I coached in that, and I coached even their grandkids. But it was fun. I enjoy, as I got older, I enjoy supporting and helping younger kids to develop, because I wanted this high school to have the best athletes that they can. I hated to see some of our kids that we supported in our rec program go off to other places. I know, Chris, you got two in Ainsworth right now, and they're doing an amazing job. But I hated to see our kids go to Mama's Boy Academy, Brentwood Academy, Ainsworth. It breaks my heart. I want to see a homegrown people that grew up here playing sports stay here and play sports. But I understand Fairview's not as big as some of these other programs out there, and they got visions where they want to try to do better, and I understand that completely. Ricky D. Jones, just want to thank you. You've been a mentor to me too. Yes, he's been here a long time. I don't even know how long. Leslie keeps him in line. Anyway, like I said, I didn't write nothing down. I just want to say I appreciate every one of you showing up, especially my family. I didn't even know they was coming. Except for my kids. People don't know me. We do have two sons, and I've got 6 grandkids, and only 1 granddaughter out of them 6. So, I'm not going to get back into coaching, but I'm going to support them any way I can. Anyway, buddy, I didn't see it. I just caught you out of the corner of my eye, boy.
I wouldn't miss it.
This guy right here, Michael Jackson, he's a bad boy on the football field when he played. He didn't play here at Fairview, but the kids love him here playing here in Fairview. He and we've been fishing. He let him go fishing with me a few times, and he's a big guy. When you take him, I told him, I said, look, I don't do no crop fish, but I told him, I said, man, when you stand up in the boat do it easy, because man, he weighs 300 pounds. No matter how well But anyway, this guy right here is 100% into Fairview and this football program, and these kids love this guy to death, and I love you too, brother.
Love you too, Bobby. Thank you.
And but anyway, I just want to thank everybody being here. I love every one of you. I hope I get to meet you or hug you or something before I leave. I'd like to get some pictures with my buddy Ken and Daniel and Chris, before the night's over with. Anyway, I really appreciate Fairview for
unreal for Bobby Green to come up and spend his whole speech talking about everybody else. I don't think he said one thing about himself the whole time he was up here. Bobby makes me feel very ashamed of the man I am, because he is such a good man, and I aspire to be like him. I'm never going to make it. I'm so flawed, but man, Bobby's a good guy. And to tell you how many years, we have some kids that, can't afford their meals and things like that. We're still in that, not a lot, but a few. And we would go Country Cafe for breakfast on Fridays, and Bobby said, if you get them to come, I'll pay. Well, the first week it cost $3 a person, which Roger don't charge anything for food. That's why you don't have the business no more. But $3 a person, we had 8 people show up. Me and Coach Jackson, about 8 people. The next week we announced Bobby Green's paying. Anybody want to come? We had like 45 people there. Bobby Green's forking out $200 and $3 a plate. So he did that for 15 years for every game that we played as a football team. That support, never asked for anything in return. Never did anything. And he is just the most selfless man. And nobody, that's such a good honor for Bobby. And I'm so happy for him. And I pray for your health, Bobby. We pray for you every day. So. This one may take a while, since when I got 1 page on everybody and I got 16 on Daniel Lampley, so I don't know. I don't know if I just pick out certain things, Daniel. Start with Daniel's introduction, because he's been inducted as a player and a coach, which is crazy to me. I guess we should put him up twice on the board out there. But as a player, Daniel brought prominence to FHS on the basketball court. He led the county in scoring his junior and senior years. He was named All-County, All-District both seasons. In the 60s, that was a big accomplishment. He also scored 1,000 points in his career. May have been the first person in Fairview history to score 1,000 points, but back in the 60s, they didn't keep good records, so we don't know for sure. But I would say he probably is. This was during a time that they only played 20 games a year also, because as we developed, they play closer to 30. Mr. Lampley also taught at Fairview for 35 years and coached about every sport the school offered during his career here. Most notably, basketball and baseball. In '79, he coached the baseball team to the first ever district championship, followed by a repeat during 1980. He won a district championship in basketball and led the '84 team to upset the #1 ranked team in the state that year. Coach Lampley started the school's cross-country program in 1985, and he brought the school's first mid-state team championship during the 1987 season. He also coached Fairview's first ever state runner-up championship team. It is also noteworthy to mention that, and some of the people not in this room wouldn't know this, but that FH logo, Scotty Manuel, hold that hat up. Is that a FH hat? Okay. That logo was created by Daniel Lampley. A lot of people don't know that. As a matter of fact, I thought Curtis Putnam did it. So I found out Daniel was the one who designed that. I can't tell you how many people used to ask me what that stood for. They thought it was Chinese, Daniel. But Coach Lampley has had an impact on Fairview as an athlete and as a coach. Very few will have that. He is intertwined in the history of this school and will always be talked about in the history of Fairview athletics. Denny Greer said Daniel Lampley is one of the calmest people I ever met. He has patience to assist and help any basketball player learn to play basketball. I want to piggyback Danny Greer and let you know he coached me in baseball. He was not as patient with me. I gave him a lot of reason not to be, though, Danny. Sheriff Jeff Hughes. Coach Daniel Lampley was an athlete, coach, educator, and he never aged. Memories of playing basketball and baseball for him will always be with me. I enjoyed the basketball scrimmages when he would play with us with no-look passes, finesse, and competitiveness like I haven't seen. We inspired to be like Coach Lampley. John Bledsoe. Daniel Lampley was tremendous a basketball player. He ran full court with us like he was on the team. He did things with the basketball I never seen, and he represented Fairview well. Sheila Hughes. I appreciate everything he did for Chris, and Chris, were more like oil and water. They had the main common factor was the love for basketball and the will to win. And after they lost a game, it was always a contest to see whose face was redder, Chris Pewitt's or Daniel Lampley's. He's very deserving of this honor. Richard Branch. Coach Lampley would have a piece of paper rolled up in his hand during every game. It wasn't a game plan, it was to hit me during timeouts with him. Coach Lampley was more than a coach to me, though. He was a mentor, a teacher, and I learned to be a better person because of having Daniel Lampley as my coach. Ronnie Kephart. Coach Daniel Lampley was told a story by Gene Fox. He said that shooting the wing position, Daniel Lampley would shoot with his flipper like all the great shooters do, and knowing it would go in, he would wave at it as he went backwards down the court. He wanted to piggyback that, Daniel, by saying if one of them would have done that while you were coaching, you'd have been called a hot dog, you'd been run in extra suicides the next Wednesday at practice. He said, congrats, Coach. I'm proud for you. Ricky Jones said, Daniel is a mentor and a friend, guided me through early coaching days. My fondest memories were after games or practices, talking about what was for supper. He and his family have meant so much to Fairview High. I don't think that any of us here that know Daniel Lampley don't know the contributions he's made to Fairview High School and the impact he has had on all the people that not only played for him, but people that he taught in school. And that lineage will go way down the line. It is amazing to me. I've always told with Billy Graham that a coach can affect more people in 1 year than most people will in a lifetime. I would think Daniel Lampley has probably affected more Fairview athletes than anyone that I can think of. So, with no further ado, let's welcome him into the Hall of Fame, player and coach, Mr. Daniel Lampley.
I deny that thing about I was not a hot dog. The referee might have thought I was, but I was not a hot dog. Who said that?
Ronnie Kephart. But Gene
Kephart.
Fox. Gene Fox still here. Gene Fox. That's in my notes, Danny. That's in my notes.
To lighten things up a little bit, how many of you know of one named person connected to Fairview High School? One named person. I got to say one name. How about Dion? Dion is the #1 fan of this school, without a doubt. Is Dion, you still here? Yeah. Stand up. All right, now, first thing I need to do is thank Mr. Butler, Mr. Jones, Coach Jones, Coach Hughes, and the athletic committee for getting all the Hall of Fame started. I want to thank my family to my wife, Linda. Who is the head of this family. If I get by this, I think I'll be okay. And we have, if there's any MVP in anybody's family, she's it. Our other family members, Tim, who's also a member of Hall of Fame, for being state champion and other things. Tim's wife, Stephanie, Dr. Sandra Ann Lampley, my daughter. Thanks to my grandchildren, McKinley, who is a namesake. My name is Daniel McKinley. Her name is McKinley, who is my namesake, and a recent graduate of the University of Kentucky. To Ryan, a recent graduate of the University of Tennessee. And to my grandbabies, youngest grandbabies, Lucy and Val, who are both 7th graders. Thank you very much, my family. I want to thank my former teammates, both dead and alive. It's more have passed away than that's alive. I'm going to name those: Danny Richards, Deborah Richards, Gene Fox, James Mangum, Ella Sullivan, and Wayne Connor. Is Wayne here? I want to reiterate on the Bronze Star. I Googled it today. There's the top medal in the military is the Congressional Medal of Honor, which most everybody knows. Under that is a Silver Star. And under that is Wayne's medal, the Bronze Star. And if that's not an accomplishment, none of us have an accomplishment. Tony Daugherty, Carl Daugherty, and my teammates who have passed away: Harry Vaughn, Tommy Russell, Gordy Lampley, Walter Jenkins, Ralph Harrison, Chester Thompson, Roger Mangum. Some of you may know some of those people. Now that's my teammates, both dead and alive. A special thanks to Mr. Wilbur Kelly. He took a bunch of country boys and made us believe in ourselves. Made us believe we could be anyone that we play. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. We've invited some of Bobby's teammates. Of course, Bobby Green, who was also inducted. Scotty Mangler, Tracy White, Mark Pack, Ronnie Kelphart, Richard Branch, Dwayne Greer, and Brian Anderson, John McCormick, and Mike Mangler. Thank you for all you got. Thanks to the teammates of Chris Pewitt, who has been nominated, who is also, all these I think are here: Zach Zellers, Joey Lush, Jason Nash, and also a Hall of Famer, Troy Sands. Troy was a high school state champion in high jump. Congratulations to Bobby and Chris for being inducted to the Hall of Fame. Bobby was a very good point guard, a floor leader, a great team player, and a real good defensive player, and motivated the team and all his teammates. One thing about the rolled up piece of paper, I only hit one person with that, and that was Richard. we were playing at Houston County, and Houston County usually had the upper hand in most of our games. But we had them that night. I mean, we were better. Richard wasn't performing like I felt like he could. So we called a timeout. He come up, Richard got close to me, and I smacked him across that arm. And I said, Richard, you better get out there and get to work. He took over. The game was Richard against Houston County then. They couldn't guard it. We even named defenses after Richard. We had a yo-yo. We called it a yo-yo. And it was all based on Richard playing the middle of the floor. All right, Chris Pewitt, as was already said many times, and I reiterate, he's probably the best athlete that's ever been here. We knocked heads a lot of times, he'll tell you that, and I'll tell you, same thing, we knocked heads, but we came out alive. He probably, was he inducted in baseball?
Basketball.
He more than likely will be in basketball, but, in the near future. I won't say next year, but near future. As been said also, he scored over 1,000 points in his high school career and averaged over 18 points a game. And he's a heck of an athlete, people. All right, I think that's about all I have to say. I know I've said enough. I apologize for the pause and the hesitation, but some of it got to me a little bit. Thank you very much.
Is my wife in here? Stephanie, are you in here? No. I want to love my wife like Daniel loves his wife. I'm going to try harder because Daniel makes me feel bad too. Him and Bobby will make me feel bad about myself. And Daniel, I think it's really cool that you named a defense after Richard Branch because I coached with a guy named Shane Pantoff, and he named the defense after Dion. They had an inbound play, and he said he named it Dion because it never worked. That was his favorite inbound play. He would yell Dion, and they turned the ball over. So.
Bledsoe and myself also named plays after Dion.
But that was very good. We'll move on to the next one. Ricky? It's John Nutt. You got the slide? We got video.
I'm having trouble with John. I got the video.
Okay, all right. We're gonna skip that, John? You can't skip that. They got a video from when you, that's like crazy to me. They got a video. They didn't even have cameras back then. So I don't know how they got there. Ricky made this up. It was like dropped from outer space or something. You got it? All right, that's as good as you can do, Ricky? Okay. All these years, and you still can't figure that out. I will tell you this, Ricky Jones is so good with technology, he shouldn't even be an old person. Like, it's crazy. He can do things our kids can't do, which is like, no. If y'all know Ricky, y'all know I'm telling the truth. So, I will say this before we start about John Nutt. I was in 7th and 8th grade when John was playing at the high school, and I thought, man, that dude, like, he's like 45 years old going to school. I was 5 foot nothing, and this dude like walked by me and pat me on the head, sometimes push me in the locker, depending on the day. No, John didn't do that, but Bobby did lock me in the locker. That was true. So I want to introduce John because John, if you in the lore of the 1979 team, which will always be the greatest football team to me because I was a kid and I went to that rec center bleachers and thought there was 30,000 people there. And now I go by and I don't think those bleachers hold 100 people. Like, it was crazy. But I remember going and watching John Nutt and Danny Greer and Danny and I thought, man, I want to be like them. So I tried out for football and I never was like them. But it was so amazing, that team and what they did for the high school. And John Nutt was a huge part of that. So John Nutt was one of the first football players in Fairview High history to make All-State. In 1979,
at tackle. He played on the 79 football team that went 11-1, and he also served as a captain of that team. He also played basketball at Fairview High. Danny Greer said, "John Nutt made me look good on the field every game. He is one of the best players I've ever played alongside." I tell this to my teams all the time. The linemen don't get the glory. That running back, it's all the glory. But when a coach watches film, we're watching those linemen. And it takes a different person to plow the way for Danny Greer to run 50-yard touchdowns. And I watched him run many of them. Sheriff Jeff Hughes said, "Big John, already a grown man, as an underclassman looking up to him in high school. He was intimidating to practice against as part of the B team in basketball or the meat squad in football. But he was a gentle giant with a big heart." John Bledsoe, "If it wasn't for John Nutt, we would have all died running wind sprints. He ran one speed only, and we could all catch our breaths while he finished. Nobody ran the ball on his side of the defense without him putting his big hands on them. He was strong, he had long arms, and no one running the football ever got past him without feeling Big John." Ricky Jones said the fondest memories that he has of John are that 79 football team and the calm but confident demeanor that John exhibited all year long. He also taught John in contemporary issues and enjoyed the back and forth with Gail Purdue. But John Nutt is a legend as far as Fairview football goes at this school. I tell my kids all the time, we do lookout blocking. That's where you hit somebody and you turn around and tell the quarterback, "Hey, look out." And John did not do that. John put eyes on people, ran his feet, and he was such a big presence at our high school. I can't tell you that Fairview is a short community. And when I say that like, look around. Like, if we see somebody 6 foot tall, we're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this guy." Like, Bobby Green saw Coach Daniel, like, "Whoa, he's so big." Like, it's like, that's what we did. John grew up here and was that big. And he immediately impacted everyone under him. And I can tell you, the class of '85 is having a reunion. Everybody in our class, he was one of our heroes. Along with the other people on that 79 team. Danny Greer, you too, every one of you. We were so blessed to be during that time where we had an exceptional football team that we could go to pep rallies, and where I got my school spirit started by watching John Nutt play football. And I don't think he realized the impact he's had on this school, the athletic programs in the community, but I'm very happy to introduce him into the Hall of Fame. So give a big hand to Mr. John Nutt.
guarantee I wasn't coming up here to speak. Didn't have any idea this was part of it. But I want to take this back. I am appreciative of this award, but it's hard to let these young people understand how blessed kids like me, Danny Greer, Danny Davis, John Bledsoe, the whole bunch, Bobby, everybody, to be raised in a community where we had hundreds of mamas and daddies. You know, I'm not sure you get that now, but every one of us boys, mama would deal with us just like they do with their own child. See one of them, you know, he's one of them, and but we were so blessed. That's really what I've got to say tonight. I love everybody here. Mr. Lampley, old man, I call him affectionately. He's a lot of the reason I turned into a man. I hope. And, anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about me. This community was it. Everybody here supported everybody, loved everybody, told on everybody, the whole deal. So that's what I'm so glad to be a part of this family. And that's what I like to call it. I don't think it would be one no more, but we're gonna leave it like it is. That's what I got to say. And thank my lovely wife, Cynthia, for being Miss Linda and running my work. Thank you.
I tell you what, every time I got a player that's thinking about transferring, I'm gonna have Bobby, Chris, and John come talk to him. So, hey, it makes me feel so good to be here, and I feel like we're doing God's work. And you know, everybody's heard it takes a village. It still takes a village, John. It's still going on. There's still some good people in this community. So I don't want y'all to give up faith and hope, because if I had to pick a city to live in and raise my kids, this would be the one. So. Very excited for John Nutt, and he's well deserving. And let's move on to the next inductee, and this is our final group. And very excited about this. I know Ricky's excited, but we're going to induct the entire 1981 softball team. If you were on that team and you're here now, stand up, please. Stand up. We're going to call you up here in just a minute, but I want to see how many we got. Wow, we got the whole starting infield. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Wow, pretty good. Big hand. You have some pretty good-looking athletes, Ricky. You might still coach them since you're still coaching now. I mean, that's been a while. The 1981 softball team was the first girls team at Fairview to win a region championship. Many on this team had already won 3 district championships before we won the region. The team had a record of 16 wins and 5 losses, and among the wins, we went undefeated against Williamson County schools, beating Franklin twice and a big win over Brentwood High School. Good Pasture defeated the team twice during the season, but we got our revenge and beat them in the region final. Y'all remember that, ladies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. You know. Members of the team were Connie Jones, Mona Jones, Regina Hall, Elizabeth Holman, Teresa Hartley, Melissa Jenkins, Lisa Fisher, Tamara Jordan, Debbie Green, Julie Burkett, Jan Hughes, Elizabeth Varden, Janelle Gibbons, Terry Lynch, Penny Langford, Sally Meadows, and Kim Hughes. The coaches were Donna Bledsoe, who is in the Hall of Fame, and Ricky Jones. So big hand for that group. Penny Buttrey wanted us to know that they did win all those games despite Ricky getting her thrown out at third about 15 times that season. Coach would be sitting in her home and grab her by the arm and then go, "You're out. Coach can't touch you." She told him, "Stop grabbing my arm every time I'm running home." So, Sally Meadows said what I would do to go back to those days. The fun, the trust we had in each other on the field. We challenged ourselves to do what it took to play as a team, and everything just fell in place. Melissa Jenkins, it was more like a family than a team. I remember the night we went to Donna's and made ice cream. My kids tell me all the time the things they remember about football has nothing to do with football. So that's a very true statement. Jan Hughes said, I remember distinctly Coach Donna teaching all of us how to slide and pop right back up. She was so dynamic in her teachings, and when it comes to things like that amongst both of the coaches, not just being our coach, but they were friends with every one of us. I remember Coach Jones bringing Sally, Tamara, and myself onto the team when we were only 8th graders, and all the girls on the team welcomed us with open arms. That won't happen at many places. Terry Pugh said, I really wish Teresa Pugh could have been here with all of us. I sat with her in her last days, reminiscing our 44 years of friendship, burst at FHS. We spoke of friends, travel, basketball, and mainly softball. She would have loved to be part of this team in honor. She even mentioned the song we all wrote on our way to Westmoreland. Does anyone remember that? Ricky Jones said, I loved knocking off good pasture in the region after they had beaten us. Donna Bledsoe meant so much to this team because she could snuff out any team drama, and she had great ice cream. We had parents that drove us to almost every game, and I want to remember those: Charlene Varden, Chris Sullivan, and Barbara Hughes. Couldn't have done it without them. So the 1981 softball team will go down in history as being one of the best and the first ever, because we are building really good softball teams here and winning region championships, but they did it first, and you can never take that away. A first is something that no one can ever take away, and for that, we're going to induct this entire team. So I want all you ladies to make your way up, and we're going to induct the 1981 Fairview Yellow Jacket softball team. Yeah, we'd like y'all to line up like the batting order. Y'all can remember. Pitch it, yeah, you want to get the fielding and all that. All right, Mr. Wyatt is going to present you each a... Ricky Jones, are you going to come down here or what? You know you are part of this team. This may take a while. Ricky's not moving as fast as he used to. Dealing with Leslie, probably. So. I'm just kidding, Leslie. Yeah, Ricky, you got to be in this picture. Come on. Penny still wants to play. Look, hey, we have a alumni softball game. Y'all get y'all's team together. Hey, you want to say something, Ricky? All right, real quick. Okay, I really enjoyed coaching this team. These were good ladies.
No, they were a great group. They were, and I did enjoy coaching you guys, and we had a lot of laughs. We had a great time, and it was like John and them said, we can do things back in those days and times that, a coach like now I can't do. So I could grab Penny's arm. If I were to do that today, somebody might be coming out of the stands after me. So,
And it might put us over for ice cream.
I did. No, one thing, Sally, I think Sally just left. She was a big part of the team too. So, I just want to make sure, is she out? She can hear me? Okay. So Sally had, but anyway, a great group of girls. And they led the foundation for what we're still doing. A lot of people ask me when I'm going to get out of it. Get out of teaching, get out of coaching. I still have that love. And softball is my first love, Leslie. But Leslie thinks it is sometimes. She says I'll put softball before family a lot of times, and sometimes it is. But I did want to say, we are about done with the ceremony. I want y'all to know what we want you to do, okay? As we go down the football field, if you exit out here, just go in the back gate and say you are in the Hall of Fame ceremony. You'll get in free at the back gate. We talked about Roger Manley. Roger Manley has cooked since 3:30 this afternoon to make sure that all of y'all can have something to eat. We have
$3 a plate, Bobby's paid.
$3. Have y'all ever seen Abbott and Costello? We need to have Ricky and Chris. That's what we're going to start doing. And when we have that down there, we have tents, we have chairs. We want y'all to stay around and meet and reminisce. And I really do appreciate all the inductees tonight. I love every one of you. I know every one of you, and I appreciate you so, so much. Wyatt wants to say something else.
All right, I'll let y'all go eat. I'm Wyatt Jones, president of the Fairview Athletic Committee.
Sonny's son.
Yep,
Sonny's son.
Sonny Jones' son. If you guys don't know Sonny, you're lucky. I got in so much trouble my entire life. Y'all give him a hard time about it, but he made me the man I am today. I did want to say though, so inducting this class, this is awesome. I've been on this board since 2021 when we got started. Very blessed to be a part of this. Hope to be around a long time. But we're asking you guys to come back. We'll reach out to you all in January, all of the inductees, and we're going to have you come out and be a part of our next class. So new names will come up just as yours did, and we're going to talk about getting them into the Hall of Fame next year. So January, be watching your email. Come on back out with us, and we're going to get our next class going for next year.
Good.